Hey there, everybody. I am here to explain why I am selling Ninian, my Mark 5 VW GTI, my first fun car, and a vehicle I will not forget. It's been almost 5 years, I think 4 years and 9 months since I picked her up in June of 2018. My son was about to be born and we needed a second car, and I was like, second car, I want it to be fun. I want it to be exciting. But then, at the same time, in talking and everything, it was like, okay, we need something that can also fit the kids in a pinch if we need to. So that's how the hot hatchback discussion started, and I was like, oh, I want a WRX. So that went and looked, and we all know how that goes, right? As a car enthusiast, they're either high mileage, rusted, or just old enough that maybe they're not necessarily worth buying at that time. So, and I needed something quicker than maybe I thought I did. So I ended up finding this, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it. Like, it's only a few miles away. It's a two-door. It has low mileage. Like, it's crazy. So then I brought her home, and the analysis paralysis began because it was my first German car. It was the first car that I had, made the attempt to maintain completely by myself. So at the time, I think I was very excited about dialing this car in and getting it right to where I wanted her to be. And we did so much within the first couple years that we got to the point where I was like, okay, Ninian is where she's at, and she can't get any better as a Mark 5 GTI. And at around, the 3-year mark or so, it was just, after that, I was like, oil changes, tire rotations, that's all we had to do, and the rest of it was just enjoying her. And that's a big part of why there haven't been a lot of videos, because it was not that eventful. It was just, hey, let's take this car places and enjoy her, and we did. Like, you can tell even within the almost 5 years, it's been consistently 2.5 to 3,000 miles a year of fun, and a good mix of practicality in there too. I've always liked that when the kids want to do something different, I'm like, hey, you guys want to take a ride in Ninian? And they're like, yeah, I love Ninian. Like, it's cute, and I love being able to put them back here and everything. But I guess now it's time to move on. I think I've gotten everything I can from Ninian, but at the same time, there is a thing I've gotten from her that I will not ever be able to get from any other car in my life, and that is learning how to maintain something without being anxious. Because in the beginning, I was very cautious and careful and meticulous, and things took a long time to get done. But the amount of learning I got, and the confidence boost that it kind of gave me into, like, I can buy any car I want now, and figure out how to fix it. And that's what this car gave me that no other car will be able to do ever in my lifetime. So yeah, that's it. It's just time to move on to the convertible I want, and it may be a process to find the right one, but I will be super excited once I do, because it, just as this car is as difficult to let go. I thought we were going to be done after 3 years, but I could not help myself. There were some things, in life, like the house, that kind of, it made Ninian take a back seat, basically. The back seat that she has. But now that that's all, behind us, it's time to finally get what I was looking to get back in 2018. So it'll be fun, but I'm definitely gonna miss Ninian a lot. She's done a lot. One of the biggest things that she did was take me to pretty much every concert I went to over the past 5 years. I love going to live shows, and I loved being able to, like, after standing for 4 hours in the same spot, to be able to get back in, settle into the seat because the seats in this car are so nice, and then once I'm comfortable I can have a little bit of fun. And like, very little cars can do both of those things really well, and this might be the car that I'll have in my life that was the best at that. So yeah, gonna miss it. But with that being said, I'm just gonna go through some of the things that we did. I've already gone through a lot of this stuff, in older videos, so check those out if you want more specifics on them. But man, we did quite a lot. We started with timing belt and cam follower. Cam follower being the most common issue on this generation. Took care of that and replaced the timing belt. That was a huge one for me. I've talked about that before too, but the timing chain, more oil changes and tire rotations. I tried to keep those as consistent as I could over the, what now? She's about to roll over to 70,000 miles. That's part of why I didn't drive out to a different location to film the car, because I wanted her to stay, right at that number for the next owner. In case you're wondering, this car is going to be listed on Cars and Bids. And I don't have a date yet, but when I do, I'll put it somewhere, probably in the description, if you want to go check out the auction and see how it's going and potentially place a bid if you're interested. So then we did the Dumas flywheel. I don't think we even had to do that, but I did it because, like I said, that's how meticulous I felt about keeping this car in tip-top shape, right? A weird rattle here and there, even if it was only heard when it was in the garage, why not? Just take the learning experience and go with it. And the flywheel was probably the biggest example of that. It was a big job, but once it was done, the rattle was gone, and I was so happy having to go through that. And like, there's just some certain level of intimacy that I will have with this car that specifically has to do with maintaining it and keeping up with it, that, like I said, is going to be pretty unique. Just learning that, right? Coils, plugs, catch can, intake, the tune, inspections, brake fluid. So the brakes actually on this car have held up the whole time. I've checked pads every time I'm going under and taking the wheels off, and the pads are still super strong. There's still plenty of padding left on all four corners. Rotors are still smooth. Nothing to worry about there. And those are the brakes I had when I bought the car. Other thing I kind of didn't note, I think, that I hadn't said, was that when I bought the car from the dealership, I noticed that one of the xenon headlights was faded out and yellowing a little bit. Not the shell, but the bulb itself. So they actually replaced the entire thing. I think they actually replaced just the entire assembly and bulb. So one of them is slightly better shape than the other. They're both still in excellent shape, but both xenon bulbs they work now, and they're flawless. And then with the fog light mod that we did in OBD11, that should keep them lasting even longer. Headliner. There's a whole video for that. The high pressure fuel pump, it's pretty much brand new on this car. That was August of 2021. And then that was the last thing, other than doing the cleaning of the camshaft adjuster. There is a video for that around June of last year. So ever since August of 2021 up until now, it's just been trouble-free oil changes and tire rotations from that point forward. So much enjoyment that I've gotten out of the car. And I submitted an application to Cars and Bids, I think it was maybe 10 days ago or so, and I was like, oh, there's no way this isn't gonna get accepted or whatever. And then it did, like within 2 days. I was like, oh boy. Well, I'm not backing out of this now. Obviously I wouldn't have submitted it if I wasn't really, considering it. And I took some of the modifications off to, make it as close to a stock experience for the next owner as possible. Some I did keep on, I think, because I'd say they're probably objectively better to have, the intake be the way that it is and the radio being more modern and all of that. I think those two are worth keeping. The subframe centering kit, because, we've explained all of that. And I'm kind of sad, to be honest. I'm excited for what's next, but you know, right now I think is the right time to be sad. I'm gonna miss Ninian a lot. But with that being said, thank you to everyone who's watched along through this process, and I hope y'all stick around for whatever I happen to decide to put out at any point in the future. And with that, thank you guys for watching this one, and I will see you all in future videos. Bye-bye. My son was 9 months old. What am I talking about? He wasn't even born yet. Oh my god. I don't know anything.